Oh, I got some juicy news for you. Profit First app version 2.0 is here. With an enhanced user experience and video guidance throughout, you can now be even more confident in your Profit First implementation. Plus, listeners who work with a certified Profit First professional get extra benefits. Check it out now at www.profitfirstapp.com.
Today, right here, right now, this is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice, and you're going to discover exactly how right here, right now,
on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ron Saharian, co-founder of Profit First Professionals.
And I'm Liz Sporn, guide here at Profit First Professionals.
And I'm Mike Michalowicz, author of Profit First. And guess what? You're listening to GMAP, stands for Grow My Accounting Practice. We are here to teach you the step-by-step on exactly that, how to grow your practice if you're a bookkeeper, if you're an accountant, or a coach. And we do it through a great guest interview, including today's interview. Plus, Ron has insider access, something he's developed for our office we think you can use over at your office. And I have a GMAP Now task. The one task, if you do it, you'll see results by the end of this show.
Awesome, guys. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find us on any podcatcher out there. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm excited today's show, Liz. Did you know it's brought to you by People Process?
No, we love Rami and the guys and gals.
So People Process handles our entire back office HR, from creating our handbook to managing the vacation and time off. Reach out to them. They're great people. Tell them Ron and Liz sent you.
And ask them if they want to tell you any of Ron's dirty secrets, because those
My HR book.
Too.
So
Your HR book.
We have an HR book. Stuff says shit that Ron shouldn't say.
Stuff that we have to tell HR about that Ron has said. That was my favorite gift ever to you.
There's a part of me that feels like that this is going to be a boomerang that's going to bite me in the tuchus one day.
I just reread it, actually. I found it. It's in our office, and I was reading it the other day. They're not that bad. They're just silly.
Well, now that you know me.
I know. Well, even before, you're like, they're pretty PG-13.
They are. They're pretty good, but you never know. People are a little bit more, sensitive these days on
which
jokes.
Is fine. I'll take it because we put up with a lot of garbage, so it's fine.
Yeah, I know. It ain't easy being here. That's for sure.
No.
But talking about being easy, I'm excited about our next guest who helps a lot of people.
Oh, me too. You know what? And I'll say this I'll say it to her face when we're talking to her, but I didn't get to see her presentation at ProfitCon.
Oh, I heard it was awesome.
I know.
And
I kept saying I think I said this to her too. I need to go back and watch it. Now I'm sure after I learn all the things from her today.
Oh, you're going to do it today.
I know. She's going to talk about it today. Okay. So, hey, do you wonder who we're talking about? You should. So we are talking to Dr. Holly A. Tucker. What do you think A stands for? Awesome. And she's a chiropractor, physician, acupuncture certified, and a Profit First professional. She partners with Beyond Your Books to coach small businesses and owns Azalea Chiropractic and Acupuncture in Wilmington, North Carolina. She also serves in leadership roles in the chiropractic profession at multiple levels. Without further ado, let's welcome our friend Holly. Hi, Holly.
Oh, thank you, Liz. Thanks, Ron. It's great to be here with you today. And I feel like, yes, I've known both of you, in person and virtually for several years. So it feels like, just hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I didn't know you were in Wilmington. I knew you were in North Carolina, and I just never knew where. I love your town.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice little spot. We've been here for about 3.5 years. So, yeah.
It's been that long. I remember when you moved. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you go to Wrightsville a lot?
Yeah, Wrightsville Beach. Yeah. Sometimes we go up to Surf City. I mean, it's a little bit of a smaller town. But yeah, Wrightsville is probably the most popular beach we go to, especially in the off season. It's you can find parking.
That's what we were just talking about, because I go to the Outer Banks. We go every year. Our dog's name is Banks, short for Outer Banks Sporn. But we would go in October.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would just they shut down the pools October 20th or something. So we would get the biggest house in the front row of the beach for $1.50 a day, basically, and bring a bunch of people. It's so fun. I love your state. I love North Carolina.
Yeah.
So let's get into this. One of the things is Holly, you have a unique background. I remember when we first met with each other, I'm like, wait a second here, you're a what? And you want to do what? So let's start off with a little bit about your background. Can you share with us, your background, and then, what you're doing, and just catch the audience up to speed a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So I decided at the ripe old age of 16 that I wanted to be a chiropractor. I was having back pain. And that's just where my dad took me. My dad was a boat mechanic and he worked on our chiropractor's boat, and he just, knew and trusted this guy, and brought me there whenever I was having back pain. But yeah, so I mean, like I always saw myself going into healthcare. I didn't really like the blood and guts or, medicine and surgery and that sort of thing. So like it all kind of clicked and made sense for me, at that early age. So set on a path to becoming a chiropractor. In chiropractic school, I met my husband. So yeah, well, fun fact, yes, we do adjust each other, but
Oh, that's adorable. A couple that adjusts
um,
each other stays together.
yeah. So,
It's
and then
adorable.
we, fast forward, we have two boys, and we practiced together for about the first 7, 8 years of our career, in his hometown in Tennessee. And amazing experience. But, we kind of always saw or thought that like life had a little bit more in it for us. I mean, we both love traveling. We're both, very active in our profession as well. As you said in my bio, like I've been engaged in different advocacy and leadership, positions within our state and national associations, and even some international work. But my husband got a job opportunity back in 2018 to work for a sports team. And so that's what kind of brought us back out of that small town. And it was a, perfect setting for us at that time. That's where we had our babies. That's where we opened our first practice. The grandparents were there, all the things. 2018, moved, he worked for the sports team, and I kind of like dipped my toe into coaching a little bit at that point because I had been engaged in a community at that time, and we read Profit First, like as almost like a little mastermind thing. We read Profit First, and like instantly clicked for me because at the time I was managing, the finance and administration of our private practice. And so in that community, I kind of started being like the go-to person that people would like come and ask questions about and things like that. And I thought, you know what, I really think I like doing this type of work. So once the setting of like being out of full-time practice was a little bit different, then 2020 happened. And that wasn't a good time to like open up a new practice because we'd been in a new
You
town.
mean when you can't see people or touch people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not so much. Nope.
So yeah, we'd been in that new place, for about a year. We weren't really sure how long we were going to stay there. And fast forward, this is when we're in Memphis, Tennessee. And I was like, I think I just want to go. I want to do more of this coaching, type of thing. And so, yeah, that's when I reached out to you, Ron, and, applied for membership. And my passion, at that point, it really still is, was working with women in our profession because, whether or not you're married to a chiropractor, I see these patterns with women where maybe they don't have a lot of financial literacy. Maybe they don't have anybody in their family that even went to college, or certainly didn't become entrepreneurs. Like a large part of the chiropractic profession is still very entrepreneurial. And so, they struggle, sometimes they struggle when they go to have babies, and they struggle with the commitment to go back to practice and actually be making more money than, this is just a hobby or that sort of thing. So that was really my passion, when I first got certified in Profit First and who I was working with. And then we had another move on the books. We had, my husband worked for the sports team for about 4 years, and then he decided to apply for a VA position. So that took us on another move from Tennessee to North Carolina. And that's when I joined Beyond Your Books, because I knew that I needed to expand a little bit more, and that hybrid option kind of spoiled me coming out of COVID of like, okay, I know I want to get back into practice, but I know I'm also going to need something to bridge that gap essentially. So again, fast forward 4 more years, I'm still doing both of those things. I opened up my own practice, and I practice 3 days a week, and I do coaching 2 days a week, and it's amazing.
Which is awesome, by the way.
amazing.
I mean, are you hearing this, guys? I mean, so you're a chiropractor and a certified Profit First professional mastery coach, and you're working, half of your time is working for Beyond Your Books, which is a traditional bookkeeping and accounting, not traditional, but they're Profit First.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't do the books, you just coach their customers. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you share with us what you're seeing prior to them coming to you? What are some of the issues and some of the things that you're kind of helping them out with?
Sure. So yeah, so I mean, when I first joined the team, it was sort of a question of, like, am I going to be able to do this outside of just, my profession, because I know my profession inside and out, cost of doing business and trends that we're seeing and insurance reimbursement, all that sort of thing. Can I extrapolate that knowledge to help other small business owners? And really, it was kind of seamless. Like it all comes down to numbers. I'm very comfortable with looking at numbers and reading reports and, again, seeing those same patterns and those money habits, right, that come up with people, and you either shy away from it or you lean into it or you're afraid of it or et cetera, et cetera. So, I love the objectivity that the numbers can show me. So like when we have a client that comes to us, yes, we are a bookkeeping firm, and I would say 90% of the clients I work with, they are bookkeeping clients. So there's an onboarding process, getting their books cleaned up, getting them on, monthly services. And then they're ready to see me once we can trust those numbers. We can do an assessment, meet with them, talk about their goals and trends that they're seeing in their industry, and, talk about their offer and their pricing. And, we dive into all that, and while we're doing implementation of Profit First. So I really haven't found a business. Like, I love doing this now. I mean, I've always loved it, but I love doing it, like, and finding how people find their way in business. Like, every time I meet with a new client, I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you could make money doing that,
Yeah. So I want to pivot. One of the earlier on when we were talking, Liz mentioned that her and I both missed your presentation at ProfitCon.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't miss it. I kind of walked by it and I saw everybody standing next to a wall, leaning on a wall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what, Ron?
Did you see what I just did? Did you see what I did? I just said, did you see, I just grew 8 inches as you said that. I was like, right.
Yeah.
So what is this melding of all of this together?
Musculoskeletal.
Right.
Musculoskeletal.
Yeah, you two are
system.
smarter than me. You guys explain this.
That was a tough one.
So every year, World Spine Day is October 16th every year, and they have a new theme. And this is one of the boards that I'm involved with is the organization behind the declaration of World Spine Day. But this year's theme was invest in your spine. And I thought, well, wait a second, we're merging my two worlds together at a fast rate. So I kind of took that and just sort of ran with it. And I, because I am passionate about posture and pain and, all that sort of stuff. So invest in your spine. It doesn't have to mean, get your wallet out and spend a bunch of money. It could be just investing your time, investing your intention, right? And having a movement practice, or maybe spending some dollars on a good pillow or a ergonomic desk or, a new mattress or new footwear. There's different types of ways we can invest in your spine. But the reality is that the burden of musculoskeletal health is huge in the healthcare system. I mean, really, no matter where you are, 1 in 3, adults is going to have back pain or has reported back pain in the last 3 months. Like, it's very pervasive and it's out there, and there are conservative things that you can do. Number one, to prevent it, but then also to, take an intervention like seeing a chiropractor or a physical therapist or something like that, and rehabbing yourself so that it's not a lifelong pain issue. So in my presentation at ProfitCon, I brought together, what are the ergonomic things you can think about? Because most accountants, bookkeepers, coaches probably have a desk job, right? And they're kind of tethered in their workspace. So I wanted to, give everybody some little cues and reminders and things to think about their spine throughout the day, and just some helpful tips. So that was the genesis of the
Great. I need some tips. So
Yeah,
let's start with where.
Give us all the tips.
Yeah.
Right. So starting
And
with
listen,
the
I'll
fact that
stand
we're
up
all
and do an
de-
exercise if you want me to.
right.
Yeah. The fact that we're all desk job workers.
Yeah.
And, I would love to know, what are the 3 things that I could be doing differently to enhance what I'm already doing, right? So we're on Zoom all day. That's we all do. I do have a standing desk here. Ron bought us a tread desk, which I cannot use because I can't talk and walk at the same time.
It's unbelievable when she tries, though.
Talk, walk, and type at the same time do not work unless I'm doing comedy, but I'm not. So
Yeah.
What can we do?
So, I think the first thing is really look into ergonomic, perspective of ergonomics, meaning like just your environment, the study of, your environment and the impact on your body. So I have the 90-degree rule that, is well evidenced, but we're thinking about 90 degrees, like how you're sitting at your desk. Let's start with your eyes. You want your eyes to be level with the screen that you're looking at. So I have a lot of times patients will come in and they'll be like, well, I moved from my couch to my dining table, to my bed, to my desk, and I'm like, okay, you just told me you're portable. So you're probably using a laptop, and every single one of those things, you're most likely going to be looking down, and that's going to put a lot of strain on your neck. That's why you have neck pain. Okay. So eyes need to be level. That's the first thing. And then the 90 degrees is like thinking about your elbows. We want to make a square with that square corner, right? With your elbows and your wrists, so that you're not, your hands are in the air, because again, that's going to put a strain now on those joints. But you want to be 90 degrees there, and you want to be 90 degrees at your knees and feet. So having your feet flat on the ground. So getting a chair that is right sized for you. And then again, your desk needs to follow that as well. So your desk height and your chair height are going to determine what angles you're able, to execute when you're at your workstation. So so that's number one, of like just looking at like, hey, if the reality is that I do have to sit here and I have to be on the screen, like just hit those points and make sure that everything is as level as possible. If you have multiple screens, like make sure you're not like predominantly using one more than the other, because anywhere your eyes are going to track, it's going to key off the muscles in your upper cervical spine. And again, that can cause unlevel tension.
Whoa. Time out.
It's amazing.
Okay.
I'm already wrong on all of the things.
Yeah.
Except this chair.
Everybody has multiple screens.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm focused on my camera.
Mhm.
Okay. Which is here. Everything else is good. I like my desk. Everything else is 90 degrees. I have another monitor here.
Yeah.
I do a lot of this.
Yeah. Can you turn your chair instead?
I mean, my arms are in the way, the arm of my chairs, but it doesn't move that. I mean, I don't need, like, it's just,
Yeah.
that's
It's
so
slight, but
okay.
yeah.
So that slight could be
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, number one, the reality is you got to be there. Number two, you have to take breaks. So the posture break is what I got everybody up in the room, and I did at ProfitCon. So I don't know, 200 people were in there, and we lined the walls. So we take a posture break. Find a nice wall that's sturdy, and you want to back up to it, and you're going to back up your heels to it first, okay, and then make sure your bottom is touching, and then your shoulder blades, and then the back of your hands, okay, and then your skull. That is neutral posture. That is anatomical neutral posture, okay?
Let's see if this is going to work, okay? All right, so.
Heels, yeah.
Heels,
Bottom,
tush, hands.
back of your hands. Flip your hands
Back
over.
of your hands, Ron. Turn your hands over.
There you go.
Are your shoulders touching?
Huh?
Look like he's glued to the floor. Isn't that funny? Like I feel like I wish I
right.
could turn his camera.
Yeah. So that's not good posture. That's neutral posture. So, and I kind of explain that, like sometimes, as soon as people find out I'm a chiropractor, they straighten themselves up and they'll usually say something like, oh, I have bad posture. Posture is not one thing. Posture is dynamic. You have different postures. You have a different posture when you're sitting. You have a different posture when you're driving. You have a different posture when you're sleeping. Okay. All of those things impact your spinal movements and your spinal health and your musculoskeletal system. So
I'll tell you what, that did feel good.
Yeah.
It felt good. And then I just sat down here and I'm like,
yeah. So yeah, that is neutral posture. So I'll have, I try to, tell people, set an alarm on your phone, once an hour would be great. Is that realistic? People are going to do that? No, it's kind of like, the dentist telling you to floss every day. Like if I tell you to floss every day, if you at least do it 3 times a week, you're ahead of, not flossing, right? Yep. So maybe you're not gonna be able to do a posture break every hour, but if you do a posture break once in the morning and once in the afternoon, that gets your blood flowing, it gets your joints dynamic again, and it doesn't kind of leave you in that stuck pattern, because our body learns in patterns, right? So it's, your muscles have memory. And if you're always kind of like falling into that flexed position and rolling your shoulders forward and everything else, and your neck, and you're constantly looking down at a phone or a device, it's going to feel more and more uncomfortable.
Does this seep into your coaching conversations?
Interesting. No, not too much. My two worlds don't actually meld that much, and I really, even my Beyond Your Books clients, I don't tell them what my day job is usually until we've worked together for a while. But I mean, like if it comes up, like if they're in a health and wellness industry and they're kind of like explaining to me like what Pilates is, I'm like, hey, I actually kind of know. I know a little bit about it.
I'm a chiropractor. Like, what? You're a chiropractor?
Right. Yeah. But
Okay.
some of my clients I've worked with for 4 years, and I just tell them, hey, I'm in the BYB office on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they don't know what my other job is. So no, I don't do a lot of mixing usually.
Yeah, because I can envision sit up. Ron, you got to sit straighter. You're killing me.
Yeah. So
how does this though impact, so you talked about taking a break. We know these things, just like you said with the floss example. How do you see this impacting people's performance in an office space though?
Right. So I gave some stats when we were at ProfitCon about like the difference between or the things to think about within like maybe your team, if you have a team, a space where you are employing people. The idea of absenteeism versus presenteeism. So absenteeism meaning they're actually missing work, and that's obviously a loss in productivity and an issue you have to manage within your team from an HR perspective. But also presenteeism, if somebody's having chronic neck pain, they're probably not getting their job done to the
Yeah.
best, the optimized level that you're expecting out of them. And they may not be so much of a team player, if we're in an in-person setting, and, morale can be down and things like that. So presenteeism is, losing productivity, even when people are physically on the
Yeah.
clock or in your building, but they are dealing with other
Like
things.
our stairs, everybody needs a half hour to get reconditioned from walking up this
That's so
flight of
good. Actually,
stairs.
that's my favorite part of this building is like the forced walking up of 500 stairs. It's great.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
It is
So
good.
yeah, I mean, I just kind of encourage everybody in the room because, like I said, most of those people have desk jobs. So this could be something that you're dealing with. So I wanted to give some tips on prevention and, some action steps you can take, but I'm also thinking about your own little workforce and the environment that you're creating. Could it be
Yep.
something that you consider, as an incentive or for your own employees to be thinking about, that you can help support them in their musculoskeletal health day in and day
It's-
out. So
Some of the other things that I think about, like I mentioned, the standing desk, the other things. So monetarily, what are some things that our listeners could invest in their office to enhance skeletal health,
yeah.
musculoskeletal? That's a hard one for me.
Yeah, like do those little
Musculoskeletal.
things you pedal under
The
your
pedals.
desk.
Yeah. What are some basic things
Well,
that you would recommend?
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know too much about the pedaling, or even really, I haven't really looked much at the research on the whole walking pad thing, but I do know if you have a standing desk, consider your footwear and also consider like an anti-fatigue mat. So,
Mhm.
those are things you're going to need to add on to because again, prolonged standing also not great for your body. So it
Right.
really is like the prolonged aspect, whether it's the sitting or the standing or the driving or whatever it is. You need that dynamic ability for your muscles and your joints to still be able to move. So taking the posture break, but then also having the anti-fatigue type of stuff. Looking at your pillow, I measure clients in my office for ergonomic pillows that are made specifically for the shape to support your cervical curve. So whether you're back sleeper or a side sleeper, we can do a set of measurements and fit you for a size pillow that's actually going to support your neck. And it's
Oh,
it's
I need
wildly
that.
different,
I
right?
need that too.
Yeah,
I've
I need
changed
that.
my mattress. I've changed my pillows. I've done a lot of different things.
Yeah, yeah. So there's that. And yeah, like I said, footwear, like you have to move your body at the end of the day. So investing in a good pair of walking shoes, and just getting your steps in. I mean, there's lots of research about 10,000 steps. I'm also not the best at that. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm not getting 10,000 steps in,
Yeah.
right? So, but there are things, these are little goals that you can set for yourself. You don't have to be this is the same like with my coaching. No, you don't have to have a 6-month emergency fund saved up. You can have 1 week's worth, right? You can
Yeah.
also set a goal to get to 6,000 steps, and until that's consistent, then you're getting to your next stage. So,
That's great. That's
Wow.
great. The other question that I have is more about just thinking of, you mentioned breaks. Are there any sort of um, emotional or meditative things that you would work on? That I've started doing more meditating. So I, like you mentioned before, your muscles have memory. I
mhm.
know I can get into a good space pretty quickly mentally when I'm trying to meditate. Are there any other things that you could recommend for while people are in the office to make the most of body mind brain
Yeah, for
connection?
sure, for sure. Yeah. So I also did a little demonstration on doing like a chair stretch while we were at ProfitCon. But the other thing is breathing. Like
Yeah.
if you
Mm.
take time, it doesn't have to be full on meditation from a spiritual perspective, but you can take a moment to yourself, and do some deep belly breaths. That's free, right? And
Yep.
do it for a minute, and you're going to be down regulating your nervous system, way more than you were spending that minute really doing anything, continuing to look at the screen, right? So that's
That's great.
another little break that you can take. Some of the stretches that I showed was like, if you're sitting, whether or not you're sitting in a rolly chair or even a stationary chair, like if you kind of reach your hand underneath, like you're at a game show, right? And you're trying to search for something underneath the chair. And then you kind of lean away. So you're just like anchoring yourself with one hand and then you lean away. That's a nice way to kind of stretch like the neck and the upper trap, that sort of thing. And then always stretching on both sides. So even if one side, sometimes you have pain on one side because it's doing the
Yeah.
work of the tension that's on the other side of your body. So I always like to
Yeah.
encourage people to do any bilateral type of
I love
stimulation
it.
like that. One other thing I was thinking about, it's also really great. Like, this isn't just about your spinal health and your musculoskeletal health. Like, giving your eyes a break, like eye strain is a real thing. And especially, we're working on screens. even if you're looking at many different things or many different screens, that eye depth that you're getting is really only like, you're only asking your eyes to accommodate to like a foot or 2 feet,
Yeah.
worth of space. But so taking a break and going outside and varying, like looking at the trees across the street or,
Nice, yeah.
looking up and, like that sort of thing is again, making your eyes accommodate and the muscles in your eyes and your face to be more dynamic rather than just pushing through and spending hours looking at the thing that's just right in front of you. So it's great
Yeah.
for your eye health too.
Okay, well, those are some very easy, small little changes that can make a huge impact. They're not financially going to break the bank, which is great. This is great.
I have, let's go back in time to your days when before you knew Profit First. Okay.
Mhm.
How can our listeners who support chiropractic businesses be a little bit more supportive to their customers? Like what did you wish some of the accountants or bookkeepers brought to the table before you were doing what you're doing?
Yeah, for me, like a small business owner, is that what you're
Yeah.
asking? Like that sort of thing? Like,
Like
um,
how can the accounting industry better support the chiropractic industry?
yeah. So, I mean, I think that, financial literacy is severely lacking. I mean, it is not really taught in our educational programs and in our curriculum really to any degree. We had like one business class where we had to do a capstone project and put together a business plan, but it was all like tailored to getting financing for startup, right? It wasn't the
Mm,
day-to-day type of stuff, right? It wasn't the longevity of like, how do I make this a career sustainable year over year and then actually save for retirement. I think that generationally the retirement plan for many chiropractors was sell the practice at the end of the at when I'm done, right, when I'm ready to keel over.
yeah.
Most chiropractors have a problem retiring, but I don't think I'm going to have that problem. But you know they stay in practice. I mean, earlier this year I went to a retirement party from a doc here in town, and he'd been in practice for like 63 years.
Wow.
So their retirement plan was like selling their practice, and like you cannot get financing for buying goodwill of a practice anymore. You can get financing maybe for the assets, depending on whether or not that comes with real estate or if it's just the equipment in the building. But most banks are not lending on, just based off of like, here's, 30 years worth of patient case files. There's potential business to mine there, but it's no
Oh,
guarantee.
wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, I mean, I think that, and things were different. Insurance reimbursements were way different, back in the 80s and 90s, and they're not that way anymore. And you see, a lot of practices going more to cash pay models, and even
Yeah.
patients are wanting to do that too because they're seeing their insurance is way more restrictive. So I mean,
Mine
there's a
just went up
lot.
20%.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's more out of pocket cost for you. So it's like seeing that all lined up, like, okay, do I just go to like a catastrophic plan and just plan to pay for more things? So yeah, all of those things are on the table, and they're things that our state associations try to advocate for, but it's a fine line of getting into antitrust, type of things and conversations and collective bargaining that we can't do it as
Right.
healthcare licensed healthcare providers. So yeah, it's really not easy out there. But I think that what an accounting practice, even just having, just basic, startup plans for practitioners, that are like, hey, help me get my QuickBooks set up, give me a basic level of support, even when maybe it's the early days of a startup practice and there's not a lot, not a lot of transactions and everything else. So I think it's great to just think about the fact that like, your advisory services could be way more than just filing the taxes at the end of the
Right.
year. Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank
Wow.
you.
That went quick, Dr.
It
Holly.
really did.
Where can our audience reach out to you, hire you, and learn more about everything that cool that you do?
Yeah, for sure. So pretty much everything I do with Profit First these days is over on Beyond Your Books. So, beyondyourbooks.com, all that. I do, if you want to follow more of the musculoskeletal type of stuff, on Instagram, Azalea Cairo is my handle there. And I, try to post, neat things for all ages, different things to think about from musculoskeletal health and that sort of thing. So, yeah.
I'm going there right now.
And we
I'm
also
going there
have
right now.
drhollycairo.com.
Yeah, that's my website. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. All right, cool. Thank you, Holly. Stick around. We're going to be wrapping this up. Audience, thank you. We're going to be heading into what we learned. Liz has got a trippy question, and I've got an insider access.
All right. I've got big news for you. I can finally spill the beans. The Profit First app, already the complete system with goal setting, expense analysis, and me, Mike Michalowicz, guiding you, just got its biggest upgrade yet. Introducing Profit First Bank, powered by Dream First, directly integrated with the app. That means automatic allocations, real-time clarity, and less friction than ever before. If you've been waiting for the perfect time to start your Profit First journey, this is it. Head to profitfirstapp.com to set up your Profit First bank account and experience the upgrade.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So takeaways.
Yep.
What's your biggest takeaway, Ron?
I forgot what the terminology was used, but when you have employees that are in pain and they're hurting, they're not productive, right? And so, having some sort of, making healthier decisions, right? We want to, as a company, we want healthy employees.
Yeah.
So it's funny because Sue, right? Sue,
Yep.
she's always in pain coming here. Jess, she
Oh, it
hurt
was
her knee
awful.
the other day, right? That is lost productivity. That
Yep.
is in no margin, right? How are you going to pick that up? You're not padding for that. You're not doing it. And we don't calculate for it. So I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
just can't be. No, I don't want anybody in any more pain because they're not
Yeah.
productive.
Yeah, no, it was presenteeism. So it was absenteeism and presenteeism.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved that one.
Yeah.
My big takeaway was how little it takes to make a big impact in investments, right? So even just being aware that it should be 90 degrees for my elbows
Yep.
and my knees. Nothing I have is at 90 degrees. I feel like I have my screens are okay, but the rest, like my desk at home is too high. My chair is weird, like all that stuff. So it was nice to know that there's so many ways that you can make a difference without,
Well, it's the little things
overhauling the
too,
whole office.
right? It's the little things that
Yeah,
make a lot of
always.
difference. Like if we're slouching, 8
Mhm.
hours a day, well, that's a problem,
I
right?
know.
If you can
Yeah, I
do the
like that
90,
would shoot the reminder of our body has memories and it gets into the pattern really quickly. It's like, oh, we're doing this now. Here, great.
Yeah.
Lunch. So I love that. Just the little things as usual. Always the little things.
Yep. All right, Liz, what do you got? Trippy questions.
So I had one that was a health one. This is it. See that they're always matching where we are. What change would you most like to make for your health, Ron? And Holly, you can answer this too, since you're still here. I want to hear what you
Yeah.
would say.
What's the question?
What change would you most like to make for your health?
Oh, I'd like to work out more.
Okay.
I'd like to be more active,
Why?
more physically active,
Sure. Why?
Wrestling.
What do you think that would do for your health?
improve it.
Okay, great. There's no pain you're dealing with. There's not a weight issue. That's what I'm looking for. No.
No, I know my wind, right? I'm
Yeah,
sucking
yeah.
wind and my wind
Oh.
is not very good. Like I was more active so I could sprint up these steps versus,
All right.
Yes.
Well, we'll start building you a plan because there's no excuses, Ron. No
yeah, thanks,
excuses.
Liz.
You're welcome. Holly, what would you do?
Yeah, I mean, I've already said it. I've got to work on my own step count. It's like I get a mile walk in round trip, getting the kids to school on the bus in the morning. But yeah, on some of those days, it's even hard for me to get that up, so especially going into winter. So I have to be strategic about it. So
Yeah. And Miss Walker up here, what are you
I was going to
do?
say, you tell me what you need. I got it all. I was actually
Yeah.
thinking of gifts I could give to the early morning crew. And I want to give them the hat that I have, but it has the light in it, the headlamp hat. So nice. Mine would be sleep more. I need more sleep. I feel
Oh.
like my body is, I've never been a big sleeper ever. I don't need a lot of sleep. I'm not a nap taker. I know the benefits of this and my body and hormonally. I need to sleep more than the 6 hours I sleep every day. I just feel like it makes more sense. So there you go.
Yeah. Huh,
But
awesome,
spoken
guys.
like a 50-year-old, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How fun it is.
Huh, nice. All right, cool.
And here, you can't hear it, but my saber's on, Ron. What do you got?
Okay,
Insider's access.
insider access. This is something that we're doing here that you could also do. One of the things that we're talking about is health and wellness. So how about opening up a health and wellness account?
Nice.
Think about that, right? How great would it be to bring in a chiropractor once a month? Okay. Or once
Great.
a quarter, right?
Great.
Or bring in a masseuse or, right? Or buy,
Yes.
what's it called? Those walking treadmills or desks. So everything that Dr. Holly is telling us what to do, I've just provided you with the mechanism on how to do it. Open up an account and allocate it could be 0.5%. It could be $20 a week, something that is building your health and wellness. Then when it gets up, talk to the staff and say, hey guys, let's go on a health and wellness retreat. You guys want to have chiropractors come on? You want to have masseuse come on in? Let's do this. There you go.
It's awesome. Really good. Good job, Ron. All right, we did it. We did it.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much, Holly, for sharing with us. Audience, thank you again. Don't forget to subscribe to Grow My Accounting Practice podcast, where you can find on any podcatcher out there. And what else do our listeners need to do if they haven't already done it?
Well, I think if our listeners would like to learn how they could work with someone like Holly or become someone like Holly or become a certified Profit First Professionals, I think they should go to ProfitFirstProfessionals.com, find that button that says Become a Profit First Professional. That will route them to meet with Ron, to meet with me, and learn a little bit more about how we could serve their business and make sure we're seeing what they're doing. But just to learn a little bit more. We'd love to do that. ProfitFirstProfessionals.com. That's it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.